Hey guys, it's Teresa from TMD Out and About. We are downtown LA with Pat Tabasi from Design Net.
Welcome.
We're going to show you around. Let's go.
Come on in. We're in the lobby of our studio space. It's called Studio DK, Studio Design It. We launched Studio DK in July of 2019, and we wanted to create a inspiring space for our clients. Studio DK sort of came about as a result of us meeting so many up-and-coming brands, smaller brands, brands of all different scales, and wanting to accommodate brands of different sizes. Originally, a lot of people would say, oh, we love your fabric so much, but your minimums are kind of hard to reach right now. Eventually, we really hope to work with you. And as that kept happening, that was in our head is like, no, but we really want to work with you. We want to grow with you. We want to see our industry continue to thrive and grow. How can we make this work? So we were able to come up with a business model that could cater to brands of all sizes. And that's why Studio DK was born. So essentially, we have 3 different tiers of products. So we have a stock collection now. We have a flexible minimum collection, and then we have our general line that has higher minimums. Amazing. So really something for everybody.
Yes.
And we wanted the space to be very welcoming and peaceful, and a place where everyone felt like they could kind of come and meet up and look through the collection and help kind of start. It is appointment only. And like I said, we do put swatch packets together. So we do work with clients who are outside of Los Angeles who aren't able to necessarily stop in. So we are able to put swatch packets together, or if you're local or if you happen to make a trip over to LA, we're so happy to make an appointment to meet with you and kind of learn more about your story and your brand. We love nothing more than connecting with our client base and really getting a sense of what inspires them and what they really see as a vision for their brand, so that we could really work together as a team. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm so happy
to see some of your beautiful things.
Come on into the showroom. So welcome. So we sort of have we have it all set up in sections to make it easier for our clients. So this is the studio collection, this wall here, along with this portion up until the sign that says stock program. Now the stock program is also part of the studio collection. The difference is that our stock program is sold in 1-roll increments with no surcharge. And so essentially you have maximum flexibility. Our stock program has grown from a handful of styles to about 50 styles plus. So it's definitely a collection that we're growing because we want up-and-coming brands or even smaller brands to feel as though they have a variety of options to pick from. I would say that they're elevated basics, good core fabrications. So it's a great place for a brand to start, and then hopefully grow into then our studio collection, which is knit to order versus stock. However, you have more flexibility in the number of rolls that you run.
Right. And will you do sample yardage on stock or studio?
Yes.
You will.
Yes.
What is your sample?
Yeah, as long as we have it available at the time of your request, you can sample up to 20 yards from the entire collection, whether it's stock, studio, or general line. Yeah, because we definitely want to give you an opportunity to test it out, see how you feel, dye it up, because a lot of our stuff is prepared for garment dye. That's another thing I wanted to point out. However, you'll see we really specialize in novelty knits. So while we have an amazing core collection of basics, we also, we really do focus on texture and pattern and interesting yarn blends, so they get visual and physical texture.
What is your the yarn breakdown? You do mostly cotton, right? But you have other specialty yarns?
Yeah, it varies. We don't do a lot of we don't do poly rich, like 100. I mean, we have some, but it's not our specialty. We don't really do nylons. We're more natural fibers, eco-friendly fibers. We have yarn dye versus PFD. So if you see something in color, then the yarn is pre-dyed.
Could you show
or
us
fiber dyed?
Yes,
yeah, of course. So right
PFD
here we have our yarn dye cotton collection. So these, seasonally, we've added colors over the years. So we have a really nice
So can we show
variety
like
of colors.
the PFD and then a dyed? Do you have the PFD of the same?
Sure. So the
fabric
PFD
is
I would
over
have
here.
in this PFD section. Let's see. It would
So
be
PFD
something similar to this.
Okay, so this is the prepared for dye.
Yes.
And then we can dye any color here that you have a stock color of, right?
So, well,
Or-
this you could dye any color of your choice through garment dye.
Right.
You would lab dip it with your garment dyer, and then these you would pick from our color card of pre-dyed yarns. So you would work within our color story for these, and then if you want to pick your own colors, then I would go with PFD.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just for example, what is that yarn? Is that a blend or
This is 100% cotton, and so is this actually. Yeah, it's our cotton melange collection. So the difference is that this one will dye solid, whereas these yarns have a little bit of a heathered effect.
Now, why are they heathered if it's all 100% cotton?
It's the way the fiber's dyed.
Ah.
Yeah, so you don't have to have polyester in it. And the reason why we chose to go heathered with these versus solid is because we knew that you'd be able to get a solid effect with our PFD. And a lot of times you want heather gray or you want a little bit of movement in the fabric. And so that's why for this collection, we decided to go with heathers, because then you have the best of both worlds.
Yes,
yeah,
that's amazing. And the studio collection is the minimums are.
So for the studio collection, you can start out with sampling, and then you can do 4 to 8 rolls with a surcharge. Then you can do 9 to 12 rolls with a surcharge, and 13 plus we waive the surcharge for this collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then could you show us something maybe in the stock collection that's a similar situation?
Yeah. So basically, in our stock collection, I'll just grab like this is a cotton t-shirt material. We also have, we have all different breakdowns though within our stock collection. So we have cotton, we have Supima cotton. We're a Supima licensee, so we work very closely with the Supima brand.
Tell us about a Supima licensee.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Sure. So basically, Supima is a long staple cotton grown in the U.S. And as licensees, we basically are committed to using true Supima fiber and yarn. And it's all pretty traceable. So if we're a licensee, then our customers can also become a licensee. So if they submit proof of purchase from us and also a garment, they can submit it direct. We can connect them with the Supima team and basically get you the benefit of also using their branding. So that's a really nice part of the partnerships that we've built over the years.
And then your label can have Supima cotton on it, which is a flex.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. And it's lovely. Like you can truly, because the longer the staple, the cleaner. It's less hairy. It's stronger fiber. It's a really beautiful. It's one of my favorite fibers to work with.
It's super soft.
Super soft. We also have Supima modal. We have recycled cotton, organic cotton. We have tencel organic cotton. We really have quite a variety. We have some items with spandex, without, and all different constructions. So you could find jersey, rib, thermal, jersey spandex, fleece, French terry.
Can you show us a couple, like a thermal?
Sure, absolutely. So here's a recycled cotton, organic cotton thermal. And then we also have, for instance, a Supima modal version. So you can it just depends on what you're looking for. This will have a little more drape. It'll have a slight sheen to it. So they're very different. And so we just wanted to make sure that we had enough variety to offer. And then we have, here's another. So this is a fleece with recycled cotton, organic cotton. But you can see there's a huge difference with this one, which has rayon in it. So it has a more slinky hand feel, again, a little more sheen.
Yeah, and it has the fleece back.
Yeah. So these are all going to be garment dyeable. Except for, we do have some heather gray, organic cotton, recycled cotton. So because, again, you can get your solid colors in the PFD form, we wanted to offer a basic neutral, which most people like to go with heather gray. So that's a really nice option. And then in addition to the stock program, we also have our limited stock. So these might be overages. It's very rare because we are generally knit to order. We really try to reduce waste as much as possible. That's another reason why we are generally knit to order. How we've been able to work the stock program out is that we picked our best sellers, fabrics that we really believe in as great core options. And we know that they sell regularly. And so there's really good turnaround. So it's not stuff we're just sitting on, because it's really important to us to reduce waste as much as we can, especially in our industry.
Our industry has so much waste, and I love to hear that.
Yeah. So if there's ever any overage or any limited yarns that are left over, let's say, we'll create like a limited collection. And so that way, again, our customers have access to something more novelty and special, but it's also going to be a limited run. And then we're also not just sitting on the yarn or the fabric.
Right. Yeah. So the stock program, it goes that
yeah.
way.
So it basically goes this way. And then the fabric that you see kind of like hanging all across the room. So what these are garment dyed examples. So if we have PFD options within the studio collection, we've garment dyed them as a courtesy, just so we could show you what to expect, because sometimes you'll get a dye effect that's sort of hard to imagine and visualize by looking at the PFD version.
Yes.
So we always like to work with a local garment dyer to, dye it in colors that we feel are true to the season, and give you a sense of what to expect. And also because the hand feel can change everything. It's not just visual.
Yes.
It's also hand feel. So we find that that's really helpful for our client base. And also for us, on the development end, I handle our product development along with our amazing team. And so for us, we have something in mind that we envision. And sometimes when we dye it up, it comes out even better than we expected, or sometimes it's not as pronounced as we thought it might be. So we might change up the content a little bit. So it's very helpful to everybody, really, from the inside.
And will you guys dye bulk, or do you leave that up to the?
So for piece dyeing, much of our general line can be piece dyed, but it's going to be a larger minimum. So you won't have the same flexibility that you would normally. What I usually recommend is for clients to, especially if they're starting out, is to start out with, to really hone in on a couple fabrics that they really love and believe in. And if you want to make the investment then to buy bulk in PFD, then seasonally you could cut it into different bodies and dye it different colors seasonally. But again, it all depends on if they have the storage capability or the capability to even purchase that much initially. So because we know that can be challenging, that's why we wanted to offer also flexibility, the flexible minimums.
It's a perfect array of different levels of opportunity. Can you tell us about the pieces over here?
Sure. So this is our general collection. And our general line is sort of styles that we've started. We are going on our 37th year in business.
My gosh.
We are a family-owned business. I'm second generation. And this is sort of a really great example of the breadth of options that we offer. And so it's broken down either by content or construction. So you have tencel, micromodal, Supima, micromodal, Supima, slub yarns, PFD stripes, novelty yarns. It's all sort of broken down by construction or content. And you basically, there's really everything from double-sided fabrics to French terry fleece, thermal, pointel, you name it. So you're going to have the most variety here. And this isn't even everything. We have stuff that's archived that once we meet with a brand and get a better sense of what they're looking for, that we'll revert back to or we'll use as inspiration. And another important thing to point out is that we do custom developments. So there are higher minimums for custom developments, but it is something we specialize in. So it's something I love to do, especially on the development end. Is maybe it might be something from scratch where you're just describing something that's interesting to you or that you would ideally like. Or you may pull from something that we already have in our line and just say, I want to tweak it a little, or what options do I have with this? So it works both ways. We get inspired by our clients. They also get inspired by our collection. So
collaborative process.
Yeah, that's what I love the most about what we do.
What is the minimum for that?
So for that, it would be a 20 roll minimum. So it'd be the full dye lot. Yeah.
And 20 rolls is about how many yards?
It really depends. So it
like on
varies
a jersey versus like a fleece or
depends
something?
on weight. So from heavy to lightweight, it would range from 900 all the way up to 3,000 yards if it's a really fine tissue jersey. Now that's really something very sheer and light.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're doing like a fleece or a spandex jersey, something a little heavier, then you'd be looking more on the 900,000 and up. As long as we have the yarn and the machines available at the time of your order, it's about 4 to 6 weeks on average. For our studio collection, again, if we have the yarn and the machine available, it's closer to 4 weeks. And for the stock program, as long as we have it available, it would be within a few business days. Yeah.
Great. And you'll ship anywhere, I assume?
So our customers handle shipping. We do offer local shipping for full dye lots within the Los Angeles area. But generally, our customer base does handle.
Take care of your shipping.
Yes. We'll package it, weigh it, get all the specs, provide it to them, and then they'll use the carrier of their choice.
Carrier.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the pieces that are on the table and how you do your color stories and dyeing?
I'd be happy to. So I pulled a couple pieces just for you to kind of get a sense of how we grow our collection and how it kind of expands. So here we have a solid cotton melange yarn dye, which we picked in this really beautiful dusty rose color. Off of that, then we're like, if our customer wants to piece things together, then we came up with a stripe that incorporates it, but then also put in a little bit of a burgundy shade, like a plum, just to sort of play off of it. Then we thought, okay, well, we really love this palette. It's very soothing. Now let's go with some texture. So we developed, this is a crepe jersey, which we love. So you not only have the texture when you feel it, but you also have this really fun little broken up texture in your stripe. So now you have a solid stripe versus a more broken up stripe, but yet they work really well together. Then
they're all cotton, all 100%
these
cotton.
Are cotton, exactly.
Yes.
And this one's also cotton, but now you're getting into a cut and sew sweater knit construction. And you see we have sort of this, what we call our lace pattern. So again, it's a play on patterns and textures, but it still works because you've got the natural tones. Then you could even bring something that's not an exact match to that. And you have this 1x1, which has a little bit of nubbiness to it. And again, it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. We want to encourage people to kind of pull from whatever resonates with them, and we can always make it work. It's all your vision, like what you're feeling. So
yes, but the way you put it together is just, gives everybody so much, inspiration, I think.
As you can see in the room, we tend to go with neutrals as inspiration. That's not to say that we're not for pop colors. I think that they're really important as well to make a statement. But one, we wanted the room to feel really peaceful and a nice space where you feel really encouraged and inspired. And then off of that, we could have, of course, if you want to go PFD and do your own fun little pop colors, you could do that. Now, it's not to say we don't offer yarn dye pop colors as well. I mean, I could pull something that would be a good example of that. So it doesn't mean everything's neutral.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we can definitely
we do some pop up in
go
here.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Because it's important. You get different inspiration. This to me feels very California vintage, you know? And so
or even a solid,
and then you could get this beautiful cherry red. I mean, so there's really something for everybody. And then again, you can work within our color palette and then add to that with PFD with your own colors. So there's a little something,
There's something for everyone.
Definitely.
For sure.